Thanks, guys, for joining me. This is Kevin Cat's Pajamas Naki, and I have the privilege of bringing you guys a winner's Round 1 match here out of the IGNProLeague, the IPL. Yes, down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Zelnaga Caverns, we have FnaticMSiTT1 spawning as our green Protoss player. His opponent, here in the top right-hand corner, is a member out of Team Root. He is ROOTDrewbie, spawning as our red Terran player. So Protoss versus Terran. We are here on Zelnaga Caverns. Of course, Zelnaga Caverns is a dedicated 1v1 map. It means you know exactly where your opponent is at. There are only 2 possible spawn locations, and players have very, very prepared builds on this map as a result of that. You don't need to scout where your opponent is. It's not like Metalopolis or Shatter Temple. You could spawn close to air, and you might incline towards a little bit of Warp Prism or drop play. No, both these players probably have a great idea as to exactly what they're going to do. In fact, TT1 not sending out that super early scout, not sending that out on 9 when he drops down the pylon. He is just continuing to chrono boost a few probes for the time being. We'll see how economic he wants to be, what sort of build he decides to incline towards. Gateway now coming up for TT1 as well. Neither player opting to wall off. Of course, a lot of Terran players inclining away from the wall off in any matchup except for TVZ to defend against early Zerglings. And I've even seen a few Terran players that aren't walling off in that matchup either. It's rare, but it happens. Because, of course, a wall usually consists of a couple of supply depots in addition to the barracks that's positioned in the middle. Now, of course, what that barracks, what those supply depots do, they're very low health, and they're probably going to be the first structures that are actually attacked at the wall, meaning that it could critically put you in the red, hurt your supply if you decide to wall off, and you get attacked pretty early. So ROOTDrewbie now sending out his scout, same thing that TT1 is doing, making his way into the base. ROOTDrewbie putting up his orbital command, pretty standard build out of him. 10 supply, 12 racks, 13 refinery, 15 orbital command. He's going to run up now with a Marine, hopefully cut off this probe. And it looks like, with good micro, get out. So ROOTDrewbie kills that early scout. TT1, on the other hand, is going to intercept this SCV eventually. He's gone for a cybernetic score into a quick second gate. Now, he is not saving up any sort of chrono boost or anything like that, so this isn't going to be a super, super fast 4-gate or anything like that. Not that fast as possible 4-gate, for lack of a better term. It looks like he's going into a second gas now. However, there are a number of stalkers coming up. Probes being chrono boosted at the moment. This is a relatively economic build. Actually, taking a look at the units tab, FnaticMSiTT1 is up 22 workers to 18, but of course with that mule out for ROOTDrewbie, he is going to be matched pretty evenly in terms of economy. ROOTDrewbie now putting up a command center as well, one after a 1 racks fast expand. A couple of Marines coming out now for ROOTDrewbie. He is going to position his Marines around. Looks like he thought he was going to split those up. May go for the Zelnaga Towers, but it looks like he's going to hold back for a while. Here comes TT1 out with a Stalker. And those Marines are going to have to wait for a couple of buddies to show up, as that Stalker will pick apart 2 Marines with relative ease and good control. So ROOTDrewbie, on the other hand, putting up a bunch of Marines at the moment, going over to a factory. His second refinery is coming up as well. Back over here on FnaticMSiTT1's side of things, he does have a 2-gate robo build incoming. We'll see what sort of robo tech he decides to go for. If he's going to incline towards Colossus, or just get out that early observer and just kind of find out what exactly is going on. As nice concave there for ROOTDrewbie. He does have all of those on hold position, and that Stalker is immediately repelled. So the Stalker leaving, and let's see here. ROOTDrewbie now is going ahead and producing a siege tank at the same time, so a Marine tank build may go into a Raven after this as well, especially when he decides to put down that next command center. Stalker has 1 kill to his credit, the SCV we saw before. This SCV leaving as soon as he sees that Stalker, going ahead and scouting for a couple of forward pylons. Not going to find anything, just retreating down Tasteless' secret hallway for the time being. Back on TT1's side of things, though, he does have another pylon coming up. This is still putting him on a 2-gate robo build. And it looks like he just decided to slap down an expansion. So TT1 is going after an expansion now. And we'll We'll see what sort of Robotech he ends up going with. Now going to 2 more game weeks. We are going to see a 4-gate Robo build, still behind observers at the moment. 1 observer out. He's actually producing a second. So he is pretty solid on economy. 32 probes, 25 SCVs. Again, that mule will make up some of the difference. Drewbiegoing ahead and building another factory here, this time on a reactor. So a lot of Hellions going to be put in play with these siege tanks and these Marines. And another reactor being constructed on that barracks. DrewbieE apparently happy with the amount of Marines that he has out at this point. And here is a missile turret going down. So right now, the observer for TT1 gets in. It does see that there were a number of units that were sitting there for DrewbieE. So he knows that an expansion is imminent. TT1 actually about to finish his expansion as well. So a lot of the advantage of having the extra orbital command up for DrewbieE was nullified there by the fact that TT1 put up his expansion so quickly. And he is going to start chrono boosting out double probes. So TT1 going for a super economic build here, going after some Immortals as well. He does see the mass Marines. He also sees the tanks. And it looks like he's going to use gateway units to go ahead and separate off the Marines and just hope that that Immortal can purely pick off a bunch of tanks. Immortal trailing at the back right now. Stalkers making their way forward. TT1 wants to move out. Now, I'm not sure how much damage he can do with this, but he is certainly going to try. So TT1's going to make his way up. This missile turret has driven off that observer. TT1 is forced back just a little bit. And because of that positioning, he may decide not to attack. Looks like he is going to pull back for the time being, just going after these destructible rocks to establish himself that gold expansion. So destructible rocks are going to head down here pretty quickly. DrewbieE up with a couple of Hellions as well. He does have that reactor factory done now. And we'll follow this little Hellion in as he decides to make his way across the map. Sits there at the Zelnaka Tower, doesn't see anything. He's going to push in now for a little bit of damage. Here it comes! DrewbieE making his way into the main. He sees everything that TT1 is putting up. The robotics bay. And there's a couple of units out now for TT1 to go ahead and drive away this Hellion. He will also see the Twilight Council. And it looks like DrewbieE is going to take this moment to move out. This is a beautiful timing because of that Hellion scout. He's scouted that this robotics bay was not finished, which means that TT1 has invested a lot into technology that hasn't necessarily paid off quite yet. And DrewbieE, with those Blue Flame Hellions, picks off a sentry. And even though he loses a Hellion there, it actually... I don't even know if he did. I think this Hellion was just down to very low health. I actually don't think he lost a Hellion there. Looks like he's going to push in now with his siege tanks. Here comes Charge. Charge is being researched. Nice job by DrewbieE to drop down a couple of bunkers here. This is a pretty hard contain. And there's the Guardian Shield. TT1's going to move right back in. And DrewbieE is not going to establish any of these bunkers. They are going to absorb a little of the damage, though. And it's really a question of how much damage can these tanks do. The Immortals are still up. They are doing so much damage. But it looks like TT1 is going to have to back off. Here come the rest of the Blue Flame Hellions. Those Immortals still standing, but down to very low health. DrewbieE now going to get into a lot of damage to this economy. The middle line is evaporating. Both the Immortals go down. Here come the rest of the Stalkers as well. There's the GG. And DrewbieE takes game number 1 to this best-of-3 set between him and FnaticMSiTT's TT1 here at the IPL Winners Bracket Round 1.